Hey everybody, my name is Now. Welcome back to the show. Reverting back to the old days because I'm recording with my fucking phone right now. I got this fucking camera at Best Buy for $450 fucking dollars, only for it to turn out to be a piece of shit that works arguably worse than the camera I already had. And then I tried making this video on this camera, the one I already had, the one I got from Brian. The battery died. Today's going to be a slightly different video. We're going to be doing a little bit of speculation. There's a guy named Anon9 who leaked Destiny 3. And if you don't know who Anon9 is, basically when he leaks something regarding Destiny, it's basically like Bungie themselves confirmed it. It's like Luke Smith went on his Twitter and it's like, yeah, this is a thing. It's now confirmed. It's canon. So he basically leaked a bunch of stuff about Destiny 3, namely the fact that Destiny 3 is a thing that they're working on, and he leaked that in Destiny 3, Guardians will be able to choose between the light and the dark. I figured if we're gonna have this idea of choosing between light and dark, you might as well make different subclasses and different abilities depending on which side you go to. A little bit of a side note, if they do choose to go with the choosing light or dark kind of thing, I really hope it's like the class system where you choose it and then it's irreversible, you can't go back, rather than the subclass system where you can just kind of switch between them whenever the fuck you want. I really hope, when you choose between light or dark, you stay that way. You know, I don't want to choose dark and then it's like, oh, well, you can go back to the light anytime you want. No, I want this to be an irreversible thing. I want this to really affect my gameplay long term, indefinitely. I can't go back. I've actually made a list of all the subclasses that I would like to see. Now these are okay. I'm gonna have to put some asterisks here for a second because these lists are under the assumption that we're going back to the Destiny 1 format, which I don't think we're going to do, and honestly, I don't really want them to do. So it's, one super, one melee ability. And I really only covered the super and melee ability. I didn't really go into depth with all the different perks and everything. So it's just the super and the melee, and it's only one of each. First of all, I'm starting off with the hunters because I'm a hunter for life. I'm going to start off with the arc. I'm calling this, all these are placeholders. I'm calling the Storm Javelin. Now you might be thinking, that sounds like arc staff. It kind of is actually, but a little bit different. So essentially, you kind of you summon the spear of arc light, kind of like with Arc Strider and the Arc Staff. But instead of holding it and using it as a weapon, you throw the bitch. And it hits the ground and basically chains electricity to nearby enemies. And you might be thinking this sounds a lot like Night Stalker, which it definitely does. Shadow Shot, it only really anchors maybe 8 enemies. What this does is it chains to nearby enemies, and then those enemies chain to other nearby enemies. So you can chain electricity to an entire room of enemies, easily dozens. The main purpose of this super is crowd control, because all of these enemies are paralyzed, so they're just sitting ducks. And then the melee ability is Arc Bolt Knife. This is kind of like the throwing knife from Gunslinger, but instead of throwing like a combat knife, just twirling in the air like that, where realistically there's a 50-50 chance of hitting them with the handle. With this one, you're throwing a fucking kunai or a shuriken, straight up out of fucking Naruto. So it's a perfectly straight line, whereas the throwing knife has a little bit of fall off. This is just a perfectly straight line. And if it hits an enemy, it obviously causes damage. And it shocks nearby enemies, paralyzing them. So it's like a mini version of the Javelin. It doesn't cause those enemies to then chain to more nearby enemies. It's a little bit more similar to Shadow Shot, where it's just that area. And then there's Solar Burning Sword. This is where my inner Weaver comes out. So you effectively, hold on, I have a thing here to, for an example, you effectively, I'm gonna put it on my mic for this. Effectively, you summon this thing out of like solar light, and you have it like sheathed like this, and then you do one big like horizontal swipe, put it away, and then like all enemies within like a certain like range and like angle in front of you, like let's say like a 90-degree angle 20 meters away, right? All of them just get fucking ruined. And the melee is Solar Dagger, where you can kind of, where he pulls out, whereas the super is like you pull out a straight up fucking Nodachi, like this giant sword just does a massive sweeping slash. The melee, you pull out like a Tanto or a Wakizashi or something like that, and you make a slash diagonally, and it just does more damage than your normal melee. And it also leaves with a burn. Can't forget the burn. Every solar melee needs to have a burn. The Void, now this is really where my inner otaku comes out. So this one's called Assassin's Mark, where when you activate the super, you have, say like 10 seconds to target an enemy, and when you target them, you teleport behind them, stab them in the back, and it marks them, right? Once you stab them, it marks them on the back, or like above their head or something. And then you can target another enemy, teleport, stab. Target another enemy, teleport, stab. And you just keep going until your 10 seconds are up. And then once the ability is done, either with the timer being up or you deactivate it, all of the enemies that got marked just straight up explode. Well, not necessarily explode, they erupt in a geyser of void light. And the trail between all marked enemies is just lined with void fire. So it's just this massive mess of void damage going all over the place. And yes, it does affect enemies nearby. Now for Titan. For Arc, I'm actually really proud of this one. Because I had trouble coming up with Titan supers because I'm not a Titan. But this one is called Lightning Tower or Tesla Defense, whatever you want to go for. Basically, you summon a massive massive Tesla tower, and any enemy that gets too close is just shocked, like with a fuck ton of damage. And because I wanted all of the classes to have one subclass that wasn't just pure DPS. With Hunter, it's the Storm Javelin because the main intention of it is crowd control, and with Titans, it's defense. But I didn't just want to go for a shield like with like we did in the past. I wanted to go for something unique, and I came up with the Tesla Tower. So it's defensive, but not absolutely defensive. It's not like you're gonna be like protected from everything while in there. You can still take damage, enemies can still get close, but they're gonna get damaged if they get too close to the tower. Oh and no, I forgot to fuck, I'm such a horrible YouTuber. I forgot to mention the melee for the Void Hunter subclass. It's called Warp Strike. Basically you teleport behind an enemy, stab them in the back, and they explode. That was quick. Yeah, so all of the Titan melees were over on punches because that's all I could think of. For this one, you punch an enemy and imbue them with arc light, and they essentially turn into a small version of your Tesla tower. That doesn't, it's smaller, its range is smaller, it doesn't do as much damage, and it doesn't last as long. But it's a quick way to kind of, you know, defend yourself if you're getting like surrounded. For the solar, I like this one. This one's so Titan. This one screams Titan. Pyro Mortar. And you literally just summon a straight up fucking rocket launcher. Shoots up to 3 rockets. And every single one of those rockets summons spheres of fire. Kind of like the twin, kind of like that one Warlock grenade, where like you throw it and it summons like a miniature sun. It's kind of like that. So all of these things explode and summon these little balls of fire, constantly damaging enemies if it's in their hitbox. And you can shoot up to 3 of these things. So it's kind of like the golden gun, but it's a fucking rocket launcher. But you are unable to move while the super is active. So it's technically a roaming super, but you're not going to be doing a whole lot of roaming. Melee is called Rocket Punch. You hold, and instead of just pressing the button and you just do a fancy little punch, you hold down the melee button for say like 3 seconds, and your character like charges his fist with solar energy, and then just lunges like 10 meters forward and hits everything in its path, obviously damaging it. I thought that was a fun thing. You just charge forward like a fucking tank engine and just hitting everything in your path. The Void, this is Void Surge. I know a lot of these are very creative. Punched. I can't think of anything else for the Titan. Punch straight into the ground, sending out a wave of Void Light. I wrote Arc Light because this wasn't initially supposed to be the Arc Super, but I changed my mind. Sending a wave of Void Light outward, like in a 360, like it's a tidal wave basically, damaging all enemies hit, and it sends them up in the air and suspends them in the air, like essentially shuts down gravity for them. And while they're up there, they're just like fucking targets. And then for the melee, you punch straight down and you send like a line of void fire straight forward. For the Warlock, I had a bit of fun. I'm not gonna lie. The Warlock I had a bit of fun. If you've played a certain PS3 exclusive that I'm not gonna name, you'll know where I got this from. The Warlock Arc Super is called Ion Smite. And you summon a giant fuck-off lightning strike straight down to the ground. And the camera then shifts from your character to the lightning strike that you summon, and you can use your analog sticks to control the lightning strike and cause it to hit enemies and just do a massive fuck ton of damage, killing most enemies. And it does work indoors, so you don't have to worry about that. Comment below if you know what game I'm referencing from that. I'll pin the first guy who gets it right. The Solar is Meteor Shower, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You basically just summon a fucking meteor shower down into the ground and just damaging every enemy it hits. And again, this does work indoors. The melee for the Arc one, I keep forgetting to mention the melee. The melee for the Arc subclass is you force palm an enemy, and yes, I call it force palm. You force palm an enemy, and it basically turns them into a fucking conduit, where a bolt of lightning just immediately hits them, like just smites them from the sky. Then the melee for the Solar one is you shoot out a... You remember the Void Super for the Warlocks in Destiny 1, where you shoot out like 3 small Nova Bombs out like all at once? It was a variation of the Super, it wasn't the original Super. But this is kind of like that. You shoot out a barrage, like really small but like bullet speed balls of fire. Like your character just swipes their hand like this, and you shoot out like 3 small, really quick balls of fire, and burning any enemy hit by it. Now I was having trouble with the Void Super for the Warlocks because I wanted it to be something, like I said before, I wanted all classes to have one subclass, or at least one super ability, where it wasn't pure DPS based. Hunter, like I said, Hunter it's crowd control, Titan it's defense, and Warlock I wanted it to be support, and I wanted it to be the Void Super. I genuinely couldn't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything for the Void Warlocks. So if you can think of something really cool and creative that would fit a Void Warlock subclass, and that would be supportive in some way, let me know down below in the comments, because I was scratching my head for days trying to figure this out and couldn't think of anything. I have a bit of an announcement to make, and I'm a little bit nervous to make this announcement because this is going to be very different from what I've done in the past. I've been thinking very heavily about this for the past few weeks, since the last time I uploaded about a month ago. Fuck. This is hard to say. Oh my god. I used to make fun of these types of videos all the time on YouTube. I used to make fun of these types of videos where the YouTuber's like, I have something to say. And then it seems like they're putting on an act, being like, oh my god, this is so hard for you to tell you people. I'm so nervous. Bro, it's not a fucking act. This is so hard to say. Okay. Don't be a pussy, Sam. That was a lot of White Claw. The announcement is I'm going to be uploading a fuck ton more frequently from now on. Oh, I fucking said it. Okay. Now to go into the logistics of it, I'm not going to be uploading daily. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not suicidal. What I mean is, ever since I started taking YouTube seriously, I've been uploading at most 3 videos a month. Then it got down to 2 videos a month, and then it got down to 1 video a month. And I noticed that I was just kind of, I was like slowly over the course of my time here on YouTube decreasing the frequency in which I upload. And it's not because I don't like making videos. That's not it at all. I love making videos, especially editing. It literally is like basically therapy for me. I don't know. I cannot imagine what the hell I would be doing if I wasn't making videos. I honestly kind of feel like I'd probably start going insane. It's not because I hate making videos. It's mainly because it's mainly because making videos like this, it does take time. You know, I have to clear out an entire day basically for someone like me who going to school, going to work, and wants to maintain some semblance of a social life. It is difficult to want to upload frequently. Just because this takes a lot of time out of my life. And usually when a YouTuber says that, it's like, dude, this is your fucking job. Like, of course it's gonna take out time. This is how you fucking pay rent. But this isn't my job. I'm not getting paid like a single cent for this. I have 64 fucking subscribers. What do you expect? So I'm doing this pro bono. I'm doing this in the hopes that I maybe reach some semblance of success on this site. And obviously that's not the reason I do this. I do this out of enjoyment for making videos, and if I so happen to make it big, then that's great. But it does kind of suck doing something completely for free that eats up so much time. So that's why I have never really uploaded that frequently. But recently I've decided that I'm gonna stop being a little bitch. I'm gonna treat this like it's my job. I'm going to treat this like it's an actual career path for me. I want to grind my ass off on this fucking channel and really put in the effort to make this channel what I want to make it. 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th are the days every single month that I'm going to be uploading a video. Again, I'm a little bit terrified of actually putting this in the video. I'm actually, as I'm recording it, I'm tempted to cut it out just so I don't have to hold myself to this standard. Because if I leave it in the video, once it's uploaded, I kind of have to hold myself to it. But this is my current plan. I am going to be uploading a lot more frequently than I have been over the past few years. So expect to see a whole lot more of this, like it or not. as nervous as I am, I'm also very excited to be doing this. I'm happy I've decided to stop being a pussy and commit to YouTube, because I think that's kind of my issue with YouTube, and why I've been cutting down on frequency is I've been a little bit terrified to commit to YouTube because I never think it's going to happen. And so that's kind of creates this self-fulfilling prophecy of like, because I don't think it's going to happen, I don't commit to it. Because I don't commit to it, it's never going to happen. So I need to just commit myself to uploading videos at like a very frequent and consistent pace. Expect a video vaguely once a week. Yeah. Let's see if this makes it past editing, because I can't guarantee that. I hope you guys like this video. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see this new era of this channel, where I upload more frequently. If you want to see more content more frequently, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be a week from now. This is going to be a very new experience for me. This is Niall, signing out. What am I getting myself into?